Hello and welcome to Leaders Talk, where we meet leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers. I'm Zhou Yun. Our guest today is Vanuatu's Prime Minister Charles Salve. 5 years after his last visit to China, how does he perceive China's modernization? With a first-hand look at China's green development, what collaboration does he foresee between Pacific Island countries and China on climate issues? Having toured Guangdong, Shanghai, and Beijing, what insights has he gained from all these dynamic cities? Join us as we delve into all these questions in our conversation with Prime Minister Salve. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for joining us today. Well, it looks like you had a very busy and extensive schedule in the past days, traveling to Guangdong, Shanghai, and here in Beijing, visiting those high-tech companies, as well as taking the high-speed train, and even enjoyed a performance of traditional Canton opera, and I even tried a little bit. This is you and your wife trying the customs of the Cantonese opera. And also, I heard you're a big fan of Chinese food, and this is right when you were cutting the roast suckling pig, and you love the Peking duck. So first of all, at the start of our conversation, could you share with us your overall impressions and feelings about the trip so far?
Well, many had to say Peking duck because we had it here on our railroad, so it was very tasty. And I understand that Chinese ambassador in Vanuatu brought us to one of the traditional restaurants.
Yes.
Small but beautiful. Well, it's going to be my second official visit to China. I'm always impressed to see big changes, but especially innovations made by China, and especially the cities, because a big impression is to see how China continue to maintain and keep its culture, because I think it's a basis of everything. To know where we come from and to understand where we are today. And I think China is doing a lot to maintaining its culture, but at the same time, innovating into transformation of its cultures today. And it comes from a long way. Some hardship. The government, but also the people of China. So I'm impressed to see what it is done, especially how China associate infrastructure development with nature.
Yes.
That's meant to continue to keep the environment. It's a effort as well to the climate change by maintaining ecosystem in place.
Right.
So I think it's something that for a small country like Vanuatu, it's important to learn. So we are here. I'm here with my delegation to learn.
Vanuatu has graduated from the world's least developed countries in 2020. And now, Mr. Prime Minister, what are some of the priorities that are critical to you in propelling the country towards growth and resilience?
It was a challenging time when we decided to move the country out of least developed country to a developed country. And in the beginning, we didn't really agree because according to us, there's a few things that we need to be addressed. Firstly, in social sector, education and health, to make sure that our people have access to not only adequate, but good quality education. In health, to have access to good health, but also infrastructure, utilities infrastructure, roads, power, telecommunication, water, and so on. We are very thankful to China that he assists us in building the wharf, the roads in islands, but also is also supporting us during time of disaster, provide reliefs to some of our schools, but also health and assistance to the community. With the other partners as well, development partners as well are doing the same during time of need.
Vanuatu, located in the southwest Pacific Ocean, is part of the wider Melanesian archipelago that comprises over 80 islands. It is known as the Pearl of the South Pacific due to its unique terrain. Featuring year-long sunshine, spectacular beaches, and active volcanoes, it seamlessly blends pristine ecosystems with modernity, attracting numerous travelers. Since establishing diplomatic relations in 1982, China and Vanuatu have enjoyed smooth bilateral relations. During Prime Minister Salwe's visit to China in July 2024, both nations agreed to enhance their comprehensive strategic partnership, aiming to forge a new era of shared future between China and Vanuatu.
President Xi has pointed out that the bilateral relations between the two countries has become a model of mutual respect, solidarity, and coordination between developing countries. What's your vision in bringing this already very solid tie to even greater heights?
Well, the relationship of Vanuatu with China today is in a different height today. And we are very happy to have this and thankful to China to consider a small country like Vanuatu as a friend, as a brother, and we are so happy to for that. But also we to have this mutual respect and respect the independence of each other and not interfere to each other's affairs. We are very thankful that China is a great nation, can consider small island countries like Vanuatu as a friend, and but also as a brother. China, because China support the independence of Vanuatu at the United Nations and the Committee of 24, and we really appreciate and with that, because we have been colonized by England and France, and we are member of OIF, which is Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, but also the Commonwealth. And I remember well when one of our former Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, but also roving ambassador, Barack Sope, who was searching around the world for assistance to build our parliament. But even those who were practicing their culture, they didn't support. But China come to support us to build the parliament we have today, parliament complex. So that was the first development cooperation that we had with China. And it was great.
So, Mr. Prime Minister, you've met with President Xi Jinping a couple of times before. So how do you see him as a leader?
I see him as a great leader. China is great. We have a great population. And his contribution to many international law and policy in relation to climate change, but also by finding ways to have global peace. And we really appreciate to see leaders like him.
How do you understand the global significance of the concept of a community of shared future for mankind proposed by President Xi, as well as his proposal of the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, as well as the Global Civilization Initiatives?
We welcome the idea. Coexistence in mankind is coincide very well with our vision and how our community and Vanuatuan people.
Well, some countries have expressed their concerns about this closer ties between China and the Pacific Island countries. What's your response to those concerning voices and doubts?
Well, I think Pacific Island countries, we have a lot of challenges. One of them is climate change. As it's a public knowledge that everyone knows what is affecting the Pacific Island countries in terms of sea rise, global warming, and we are the victim of this in reality. So, and every day it's a concern of the Pacific Island country to protect the blue ocean that we have, to continue to provide food to our people, but also remain the economic resources back to the country, each country. So the challenges we have, I think we can find solutions with through relationship that we have with China. I think it is good to work and have relationship to someone or some country that is listening, and I think China is listening to us, and that's why we are here to talk with him.
During his visit to China, Prime Minister Salway chose Guangdong as his first stopover to reconnect with the country. There, he explored technological innovation and green development at places like the Nanshan Energy Ecology Park in Shenzhen. Due to its limited land area, Vanuatu faces significant challenges in waste disposal. At the Nanshan Energy Ecology Park, often dubbed the waste incineration plant without walls, Salway inspected incinerators, control rooms, turbines for steam generation, and smoke abatement plants. He engaged with staff, discussing topics such as waste sorting procedures and inter-island waste management operations. Salway praised China's environmental initiatives, noting their potential for numerous countries, especially small island states.
In 2022, the Parliament of Vanuatu declared the climate emergency, reaffirming that climate change is the single greatest challenge to the safety and well-being of the people. Well, this time during your visit to the Nanshan Energy Ecological Park, you have shown great interest to the waste incineration system as well as some of the other state-of-art equal technologies. So what's your plan to incorporate these insights gained here and enhance cooperation with China in addressing the challenges of climate change as well as environmental protection?
It's a reality of we are experiencing the reality of what we call climate change. By looking some part of our small islands, I would say sinking because of sea rise. Many trees are in the water, and it is also affecting livelihood, especially in agriculture. We need to adapt ourselves to this climate change, and it's not easy. And alone, we don't have enough resources to address this issue of climate change. We need an international community to hear us. It's not only Vanuatu, but all the Pacific Island countries, because we are living in the biggest ocean. Even though it's sometimes we call it the blue goal, but we are resilient. But in spite of many severe cyclones that really affect our economy. For example, last year we experienced 3 severe cyclones in a year, and of category 5. But small island countries were always considered as beautiful, but were more beautiful before. But they're still beautiful. But we are changing their landscape because of climate change and tropical cyclones, tsunami and flooding and etc. But That's why it is very important. It's part of what we call it security.
It is, but how do you enhance cooperation with China on that front, on tackling climate change and environmental protection as well?
Well, we have a few things, but as I mentioned earlier, that we saw how China is, because we want also to have development progress in the country as well, improving infrastructures, access to market, access to schools, access to health for our people. But it must be done with respect to the environment. So I think that it's one of the experience that I learned here in China, how there's a lot of development, infrastructure developments, but it is associated with the environment and the ecosystem that we have in China. So
I want to show you something, Mr. Prime Minister. This is when you were at the handover ceremony of the Yavanuala Malekula Road, which was built by Chinese company. And this road has been held by local people as the road of hope or the road to the future. And you were there during the ceremony and you have called it, quote unquote here, a very big development or a new level of partnership with China. So, Mr. Prime Minister, what do you think are some of the major benefits brought by this road to especially the ordinary people, such as farmers, students, and individuals in need?
Well, it's a great change for their life because you would see the condition of the road before. Sometimes during bad weather, they can go up to their village, even though by vehicle, the vehicle can cross the rivers, can cross some of the rough area. But today, only a few minutes we can get to the main center of the island, but before they can't. So it's a big change in the life of the people. They can easily have access. They can easily have access to schools, to hospitals. Many of the women, sometimes they deliver on the road, cannot reach the hospital because of the condition of the road.
Actually, Vanuatu is one of the first countries to join China's Belt and Road Initiative, and now the cooperation within this framework, including the building of the national stadiums and schools, are becoming not only the landmark projects in the country and even in the South Pacific region. So what do you think are some of the major changes brought to the well-being of the people, as well as the development of the country and the region?
The priority of the government is to try to do as much as he can within its means, of course, to provide better service to the people. And in Vanuatu, few islands are benefiting. The photo you show me is on the island of Malakula. Yes. We have the similar road on the island of Tana. Tana is one of the areas that it is attracting tourists because that's where we have an active volcano associated with road. We will now have more better access to go to the volcanoes. Before it was very hard. But today we can go to the volcano. And I think it is shared with all islands in the Pacific because we are small islands and we have limited resources. But with the cooperation and relationship that we have with China, we can afford or we can be able to have access to this infrastructure that we have now. But it is also resilient because you can resist to the cyclone.
And also your government has previously highlighted the challenge of passive data gaps, digital devices, key hurdles in keeping pace with technological advancement. So this time when you were in China, you visited some high-tech companies. So what's your outlook in enhancing cooperation with China in innovation in digital economy?
I think it's very important to have this information and data for decision makers. We can be decide even with minimum resources. And I visit an academic agriculture academy and how they use IT, information technology, and it is very helpful, really helpful. Basically, because now we have one submarine cable, and we are planning to connect one more. And because Vanuatu is very vulnerable to disaster, it is important to have this kind of collection to provide more security.
Well, talking about education, actually, the teaching and learning of Mandarin Chinese has been included in the primary and secondary education system in Vanuatu. And I heard from my colleagues who have been reporting there that increasing number of students are, gaining their interest in learning Chinese. So how do you think the exposure to the Chinese language, Chinese culture can help the younger generation in your country to enhance their cross-cultural understanding and global awareness?
During my time as a student, we are not yet independent, but because I'm a Francophone, that I have to learn. It was compulsory to learn English because Vanuatu was a condominium colonized by Great Britain and France. But it was also an obligation to choose one more language, either Spanish, Japanese, or German. Why? Because at the time, in terms of technology, Japan and Germany were in advance in the 1970s and 80s. So today it's Chinese. So we're importing a lot also from China. If we want to have a good relationship with China, we have to learn the Chinese language to better understand Chinese culture. We already decided to introduce Chinese language in few schools in Vanuatu. We have a quite good number as well of students studying in China.
Yes.
And I think we are not wrong. It's a right decision to come and learn Chinese because tomorrow we'll have to work more with China. Definitely.
Well, thanks to the favorable climate, Vanuatu has abundant agricultural products such as coffee and coconut. And fortunately, these products are now gaining their access to the Chinese markets through the platforms like CIIE, the International Import-Expo, etc. So looking ahead, Mr. Prime Minister, what is your outlook in making the agricultural products from Vanuatu more appealing to the Chinese customers?
Before talking about market, we need to go back to primary industry to produce more. Because China is not a small market. It's a big market. And I'm also inviting investors who want to invest in the productive sector, in coffee, cocoa, so cattle, because we have one of the best beef.
Mr. Prime Minister, I heard that sometimes you like to walk along the beach. So while wandering the beach side, what are some of the thoughts that you usually ponder?
It's more for health and before, because I used to walk with friends, exchange ideas and views, too many things. But we exchanged out of my political life, and I had to work with some friends. We discuss other things than politics.
Second office.
But also opportunity for some, but cannot afford to find opportunity to come and see me in office. So it's an opportunity to listen to them and by working. It's always pleasant to listen to others.
So, Prime Minister Solway, it was such a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time and for sharing with your very insightful views. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much.
During the interview, we truly sensed Prime Minister Solway's gratitude for China's sincere assistance to Vanuatu over the years, addressing the country's specific needs. We also felt his enthusiasm for expanding cooperation with China, particularly in infrastructure and green development. And we look forward to both countries upgrading the comprehensive strategic partnership and building a China-Vanuatu community with a shared future in the new era. With that, we're going to wrap up this edition of Leaders Talk. I'm Zoe reporting from Beijing. Thank you for watching and see you next time.